Hey, today I am talking about the Clark's Desert Boot. I did a video not too long ago about the Clark's Wallaby. I'll put a link in the description there if you want to check it out. But the Wallaby, while it can be a bit of a polarizing design, the Desert Boot, or the Clark's Desert Boot, which is a chukka boot, has really become sort of a menswear staple that kind of runs right down the middle, works great in a casual setting. And it really has become just another legendary Clark's boot. The design was brought forward by Nathan Clark in the early 1940s. And I say brought forward by Nathan Clark, not designed by Nathan Clark, because this was a boot that he had discovered while he was abroad and brought back to the board to create and market under the Clark's name. And again, the Wallaby, same thing. That was a boot that they had discovered, the Sioux boot, and had kind of made their own and popularized under the Clark's name. So interesting, a couple of their very legendary boots are not Clark's designs, but boots that they had seen and that they knew were going to be a style that they could make popular. So in the early 40s, he saw these boots. It was a style of, 2 or 3 eyelets on a crepe sole, a suede or rough out leather, and it was being made for army officers in Cairo during the North African campaign of the Second World War. It turns out the style originated in South Africa, where they were called veldtschoen, which translates as field shoe. It's an ankle-high boot, 2 or 3 eyelets, made from rough out leather, and one of the unique characteristics being that stitch down construction, where the leather from the upper is folded down over the sole and then stitched down to the sole. So, describing that veldtschoen, you would think that I was describing a Clark's Desert Boot. And so you can definitely see where not just the inspiration comes from, but where the overall design comes from. As mentioned earlier, the Desert Boot is a chukka boot, which is just a low-cut ankle boot with 2 or 3 eyelets and open lacing. You can find the Clark's Desert Boot in the Clark's Originals, which are built on a crepe sole, like the earlier boots would have been. Or you can also now find newer, non-original Clark's Desert Boots that are on a rubber sole, like the pairs that I have here. To be honest, I prefer the look of the rubber sole. Crepe soles just get so dirty so quickly, and the rubber sole really gives you that same look, same aesthetic, without having that problem of the crepe soles just looking so dirty and worn in such a short period of time. Either way, it's not going to offer a ton of arch support, so if it's something that you need, that's something to consider. I find that to be an issue for me wearing the Clark's Desert Boots. The Wallaby has that crepe sole, but it's a wedge evenly distributed across the whole boot, so it's not too bad. Whereas the Desert Boot, where you have that small heel and then the forefoot, there isn't really any arch support to kind of bridge those two areas. So I find that to be a little bit problematic for me. I can feel it at the end of the day with my arches feeling sore and tired when wearing a Clark's Desert Boot. No matter what option you choose, they just have such a classic look. They work great in a casual outfit, and I put a link in the description in case you want to check some out. So that's the Clark's Desert Boot. It's just an absolutely legendary boot, a classic style, and while it's not their design, you can definitely see why it has become so popular and just been able to maintain its place in the market. All right, thanks so much.